Watch it. Oh, there it goes. Alerting me when I go below 120. I've done this little chat before, but basically there's two different camps in the cardio department, and they both look at each other like they're stupid. You have long, steady state cardio people that are kind of in the endurance camp that think that they're just way superior to everyone. Then you have more like the circuit or interval type people or a camp that thinks that they're superior to a little thing that nobody seems to be able to grasp in the training department. Both are correct. This is a basic of how it works. You have your O2, that's your aerobic base. This is where you're using a lot of oxygen to go for a long period. Then you have your alactics and your glycolytics. Alactics are where you're going super hard, rest a little bit, super hard, rest a little bit. Glycolytics are straight torture. Torture, what I mean is you might go as hard as you possibly can for 20 seconds and only get a 20-second break or maybe even shorter, and then you repeat that over and over. And this is what they look like. Steady state cardio, you're bringing your heart rate up, let it peak off. Alactics, heart rate goes up and down. Alactics, heart rate. But then you have those awful glycolytics where you don't even give your body time to rest for the heart rate to come back down, so it just stays up. Now, why are they both significant and why are they both correct? One thing that is good to understand is that humans ran their food to heat exhaustion for tens of thousands of years. So that's why we're so good at running at that galloping pace and maintaining that. And the reason we were able to do this is because we sweat better than pretty much any animal on Earth. That and sun only hits us on the top of the head and the shoulders, so we regulate our body. The other side of the coin is that for most animals, the sun hits their entire torso where all their vital organs are, and they either pant to get rid of heat or they don't sweat as well as we do. Ipso facto, we were able to run them to heat exhaustion, walk up, club them in the head, and have a nice meal. Slight tangent, but think about it the next time you see someone on a bike ride or jogging with the dog on a leash on a hot, sunny day. Back on topic, why is steady state cardio still important? Why is it significant? Why are there two camps? Well, it's extremely good for your body to get your heart rate up and keep it there for an elongated period of time. It drives blood flow, it drives recovery, it has a mental component, it has good stuff that happens with your heart. It does. Huge error comes when you're doing it too often. 1 day a week. 1 day a week. That's all you need. This comes down to a lot like my post, I think it was Tuesday, that quality over quantity. Doing too much isn't necessarily a good thing. If you missed that post, it was on minimum effective dose, but what about the interval stuff? What about alactic and glycolytic training? What are you supposed to do with that? Here's the thing on why they're accurate. Glycolytics and alactics are the #1 way to burn calories and burn fats, and they're way more fun. Basically put, our bodies are not set up to do alactics and glycolytics well. So by performing things that we are not efficient at, it causes our body to do, and that reaction is extremely potent. It's extremely effective. But we still need that 1 day a week of steady state heart rate training. 1 day. And the contest against people who are in speed sports that say, oh, I can't be getting slower by doing slow stuff. 1 day a week doesn't affect that. 1 day a week is still really. How do I know that? Science. That's how I know that. Plus, you walk around all day long. There's nothing slower than that. You will be fine. All right, well, how often are we supposed to be doing alactics and glycolytics? This totally depends on what you're going for. Some people might only need 1 day a week. Some people need more like 2 to 3. But balance goes a long way. And especially after the age of 16, minimum effective dose wins out. Morning. I got a super good question, and I don't remember exactly how it was phrased, but it was something around what does sweating have to do with being able to run at a galloping pace? It has to do with the ability to survive. The reason you are able to run at such a wonderful galloping pace is because you are the offspring of you were able, you got to eat, and if you could live long enough to reproduce, then your genes got passed on, which leads to us. Survival of the fittest is actually just the title of Darwin's deal. Really his hypothesis was that the most adaptable survive. For instance, humans didn't adapt to the cold, right? Not physically. I mean, like I've got a big old beard, but this has nothing to do with being able to survive in the cold. Human hair is actually about sun protection. Nope, we didn't adapt physically, but we did steal other animal skin that were able to survive, and we wore that around, and that made us able to live. Emily just heard that, and she thought it was hilarious. It's whoever is the most adaptable, not survival of the fittest. And humans are very adaptable because of our minds and our ability to create technologies in order. Andy wants in on this too.
What are you doing?
The best able to survive passed on their genes, and that's how you and I and all of us ended up here. I got another good question. Why not just forget about the aerobic based stuff and focus on the alactic and glycolytic training to get more out of that? Only focus on your alactic and glycolytic training, you're narrowing the effect of your training on the on your body because you don't have a foundation with that aerobic. So it works like this. If you have a small base, then you're going to have less out of the top. If we can build a bigger base, then we can get more out of the training. And keep this conceptual. It's not that you change the detail. You change the details based on the target. So if it's fat loss or performance, you're going to change the details, but you're not going to change the. And the concept is build your base, and then you get more out of your glycolytic and alactic training.